Proceed, Gore.
Thank you, sir. May I approach?
Yes.
Mr. Williford, I'm going to show you what's been marked right now for teaching purposes. That's Exhibit 262. Just ask you if you recognize that.
Yes.
What is that?
Family picture from Eastwood.
Who's in that?
Travis, Tyler, and Timmy.
She was leaning away from it. You're in trouble with Joyce.
Yeah, I'm always in trouble.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would offer Defense Exhibit 262 and then mention to the public.
Sure, and then when you put it up there, let her describe who they are, left to right. How about that? That way we'll have it on the
Yes, sir.
record.
Ms. Williford, if you will, just tell the jury who's who in that picture.
Travis is in the Superman, Timmy's in the middle, and Tyler's next to Timmy.
And what's that on Tim's leg?
That is the cast from the accident that he was in.
Is that the same accident where he sustained a head injury?
That would be correct.
Tell the jury about the relationship between these three.
They were definitely three brothers, laughing Easter, a lot of grass everywhere. Just part of our little holiday fun time.
And what was it like for them, from your perspective, obviously, what it was like for them when Tim moved away from Illinois?
When Tim moved to Mississippi,
Yes, ma'am.
it was hard on the kids. It's a separation, and it wasn't something that was maybe 30, 40 miles away. It's an entire different state, so things were not included. Like, he wasn't there for a lot of stuff that the kids participated in.
Yeah. What's the role that you see that Tim has in Tyler and Travis's life?
Oh, he was good to his brothers. When they needed advice, they would call him. If they just wanted to laugh or goof around, they always seemed to goof around a lot. More importantly, Timmy was always about telling them to do better and make sure you stay in school, get educated. So he was definitely like a father role. He was very good for the boys.
And did that continue when Tim was living in South Carolina as well?
Yes.
Has it continued since Tim's arrest?
Objection to relevance, Your Honor.
All out. Overruled.
Has he continued to encourage them, do you believe?
Yes, absolutely.
You testified about the real serious problems that existed in your marriage to Tim Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Are you here at this trial with other members of Tim's family?
I am here with my husband and my children. Well, my one son is here right now.
And you're here with Tim
Sr.
his wife, Julie.
and Julie, yes.
And I'm sure that's in some ways difficult to bring up the past.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. But are you trying to work through that?
I am, and I think, unfortunately, I believe that we're doing a pretty good job supporting and loving each other for the person that we love, which is little Tim.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Mason.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. May it please the court?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So just to get the timeline right, you married Timothy's father, the defendant's father, around 1992,
That would be 1991.
all right? And then he moved in to live with you and his father around 1992. Does that sound right?
That would be correct.
And then he continued living with you guys up through his high school graduation
Yes.
in 2000.
Yes.
And then ultimately you and his father were divorced in 2002,
That would be about the timeline, correct.
about 17 years ago. Now, part of what you know about the defendant is that he was abusing both alcohol and drugs during high school, correct?
That would be correct.
And one of the drugs that he was using in high school was a hallucinogenic, LSD, also known as acid, correct?
I do not recall that.
He didn't inform you of that. He hasn't informed you of that since.
I was never told about LSD.
And did you ever state to the defendant when he was a child that, quote, I don't like you, you were in the way?
I do not recall that.
That would be a false statement.
I can't say something that I don't remember.
And you and his father were divorced in 2002, so when's the last time you actually saw the defendant or had any contact with him?
Well, so you have to imagine, like, when he would talk to his brothers, you know, it was kind of speaker, so it was probably, I don't know, in the driveway at my house. I can't give you an exact date, but when they would talk to their brother, it would be like, hi, Timmy, how's it going? Or, you know.
Has it been within the last 5 years,
Well, it would be before
10 years?
the children
Before
passed.
the children were born?
No, it was the children were born.
Before he killed the children?
Yes, before he killed the children.
So by 2000, 2001, when he was still living at home with you guys, after the Navy didn't work out, at that point he advanced on to hard drugs such as crack cocaine and heroin. Are you aware of that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So I know you had alluded earlier during your testimony to some of the legal issues that he had at the time, his
Correct.
past and his incarceration. That was drug related as a result of the crack cocaine. Are you aware of that?
I did not know the specifics of what drugs that he was on when he was arrested.
Was he still living with you guys during that time frame?
Yes.
One of the things you mentioned during direct testimony was that he didn't seem a fit for the Navy in your eyes. I think you put it that you were surprised because he really had, he didn't want to follow even simple rules like clean the room.
From a mother's perspective view, yes, I would be surprised that he would do well there, considering there's a lot of instructions when you're join a service.
And I think one of the things you said on direct examination was he didn't like rules.
He didn't like his mom's rules, which were my rules of picking up, cleaning, stuff like that.
Ordinary rules that
Any regular teenager, yes.
And then when he was living in the home with you and his father, you guys did your best as parents to teach right from wrong, correct?
I feel we did, yes.
And he understood those teachings, correct?
I believe so, yes.
But he didn't like rules that you kind of saw from the outset that probably wasn't going to be a good fit for the Navy.
So I don't really understand that question. Could you maybe repeat it for me?
So he lasted in the Navy about 6 weeks. Does that sound right to you?
That would be correct.
And I think one of the things you testified to on direct examination was that you were thinking he was let go or that there was a discharge due to a medical condition, right?
I was due to believe that it was because of his eardrum.
Well, are you aware that it also included, the discharge included defective enrollment because of his addiction to alcohol and drugs?
I do not know why Timmy was let go.
And then he came back and resided with you guys again for a little while until he got into the drugs and the arrest that we've already talked about.
Yes.
So with all that in mind, and your last contact with him having been somewhere around the time that the kids had been born, but it was just brief contact in the driveway, right?
No, Timmy visited me. He brought his children and Amber to my home to see his brothers, and he did stay with us.
Did you ever travel to their home here in Lexington County to visit?
No, I did not.
And you were not in contact with the defendant on the night of August 28, 2014, correct?
I was not.
You don't have any personal knowledge regarding the events of that night, correct?
No, I did not know any of those details from that night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Siegel?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Williford, you said that you did the best to teach your kids right from wrong when they were growing up. Is that right?
Yes,
And did you mean that for Tyler, Travis, and Timmy?
yes.
And I don't doubt that you try to do that, but do you think that the example that was being set in your family and in Timmy's family, was that one that you would describe as being healthy all the time?
It was not healthy at all times.
Because there was violence between adults in the family,
There was violence between my husband and I, yes.
and there was serious substance abuse.
There was definitely substance abuse.
Thank you, ma'am.
May step down.
Your Honor, the defense calls Tim Jones Sr.
Once you're seated, state your full name and spell the flag.
Hello, my name is Tim Jones, Jones.
Mr. Jones, you have you testified before in some hearings about this case, right?
Correct.
And based on that testimony, we're going to begin your testimony around Timmy's birth, okay? Which I understand not your whole story, but it's the story from Timmy's birth forward. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Who was Timmy's mom?
Cindy Granado.
And how old were you and Cindy when you got together?
We were 16, just about 17.
All right. And how quickly did y'all get pregnant after you met?
It wasn't very long. It was just a dating thing, and then made a mistake.
Yes, sir. Tell the jury about Cindy when you.
Oh, she was a lovely girl. I mean, I'd known her, through a few other people. She's very pretty, different ethnicity to me, but I sort of liked it.
Yes, sir. Did she start to change when she was pregnant with Timmy?
Well, of course, you're pregnant, so in that and other things, yes.
Okay. Did she start acting bizarrely or just normally?
No, well, I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know what a pregnant woman's supposed to act like anyway,
Okay.
So, she get mad and cut up some clothes. I would think it's because she gained some weight,
Okay. When Timmy was born, how did she interact with him as an infant?
Well, when I was around, it seemed to be a good mother. Other people around, they say no, but you also know mother-in-laws and father-in-laws and so on. I mean, so I'm a guy who sort of believes, not 100%, maybe 60-40, 70-30, so. But she seemed to be trying real hard.
Okay. Did she seem to have motherly instincts in terms of being drawn to Timmy?
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. But again, I was as a kid.
Yeah, I understand. Did she start Or did you start having problems in your relationship with Cindy?
Yeah, she was a bit violent. So, I mean, yeah, we had a lot of trouble that way. And then, you know, she did a lot of weird things with Timmy as it got, you know, after about 6 months, 8 months, a year.
Okay. And what do you mean
crazy.
What do you mean by weird things?
Well, you know, wanting to feed him certain foods and actually make him flush himself out. You know, it's like you're gonna flush out a 1-year-old baby. I mean, he's gonna flush himself out, isn't he?
So what do you mean? What would you give him?
We should give him laxatives and stuff.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't believe it because my mom actually told me. I was like, no, there's no way. You know, and I asked her. She's like, oh yeah. I was like, what? Isn't that bad for him?
Who were you and Cindy living with at this point?
When Timmy was first born, we were living in my mother's basement.
And where?
In Elk Grove Village.
In Chicago?
No, it's a northwest suburb about maybe 20 miles out of Chicago, 25 miles out.
Okay. And did you and your mom discuss Cindy's behavior or how she interacted with Tim?
Oh, well, yeah. Yes, sir.
And did you and your mother's Roberta, right?
Yes, sir.
And did you and Roberta, did you disagree about how Cindy was?
Very much so.
And did you think it was okay or did you think it was not okay?
Well, I didn't really know, you know, so, you know, hindsight's 20/20. I found out later that, you know, what she was saying was true. She was doing all kinds of goofy, I mean, giving him a cold bath and stuff, and, you know, and yell at him for crying. And it's like, he's a baby. You got to pick him up once in a while. I understand, don't pick him up too much because we know what that results in.
Okay. And you were working at the time.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I've been working since I was like 12, man.
But so Timmy was with Cindy during the day while you were at work?
Yes, sir.
And how old was Timmy when you and Cindy got pregnant for the second time?
It wasn't long, you know. I got 11 months apart with Carolyn. It was probably the same area I was a kid.
Pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, can the solicitor and I approach us for a quick moment?
Sure.
Mr. Jones, you got pregnant for a second time, okay? And
Pardon me?
you and Cindy got
Second, yeah, well, William. It was William. He was a baby.
right. And we're not going to the details, but that baby was lost, right? William was
Correct.
lost. Okay. And tell us about Cindy's behavior after William was lost.
Well, she's sort of really, I mean, she was really getting, you know, off the charts. Before, pregnant at one time, she cut up some clothes because I thought she gained some weight. Now it's, I mean, she cut up everything she owned, you know, and she was just sitting in the corner off by herself, and the cat and baby be crying. I mean, it was real messed up, you know.
So,
And I felt, you know, something's wrong. This girl, I mean, something's got to be wrong. I'm going to sleep with my eyes open, man.
and why are you going to sleep with your eyes open?
Because she's just going off the charts with weird stuff. I mean, you got somebody takes scissors and cuts up some clothes. She's in there with a knife, you know, and she just really wasn't stable. I mean, I was scared.
And when you say that the baby would be crying, you're talking about Tim.
Yes.
And you're saying that she was not being responsive to him?
No. I started coming home early from work and finding that, you know, this is getting really bizarre.
And did you do something to try to get her help?
I did.
What did you do?
I signed her into a mental health facility.
Where was that?
Alexian Brothers Hospital, Elk Grove Village.
All right. And how long were you there?
It was only like a week. You know, I mean, it wasn't long.
Did you?
I signed her out because she just, I couldn't take it.
Okay. And once she got out, did she start disappearing?
Yeah, that was the second phase of this whole thing was now, you know, trying to work it out, trying to get her help, you know, I mean, literally. And she'd just take off, man. You know, and she started taking off with the baby a couple of times. So I got the baby from her sister or something, you know, and then it got progressively worse. And she was, you know, now she's like basically wanting to kidnap the baby. And I was like, come on, you know. And, you know, as we were living together, she had left and she had taken everything I owned, you know, what we owned anyway, and drained the water bed in the floor. And she baked me a cake and left it in the living room floor.
So that's when you came home and she was gone for good. That's what you meant.
Yes,
Okay. And where was Tim?
with her.
Did you know where she was or where?
Had no clue.
And how long did that go on where you didn't know where she or Tim was?
Well, first I stayed in the apartment for like 2 weeks, you know, cleaned it out, of course, you know, and I didn't really want to tell nobody, you know, so I just sort of tried to stay there and figure out what the hell I was going to do. And then, you know, moved back in with my parents, of course, because, you know, couldn't find my wife. Her mom, Maggie, Linda, Martha, Robert, you know, they were all lying to me, telling me that they hadn't seen her, don't know where the kids are, you know. So, you know, so.
And during that period of time, tell the jury about where you saw a picture of Cindy.
Well, we were at work one day with my cousin Ricky Ames, and he comes and tells me, I got something I got to show you, man. You ain't gonna believe this. And, you know, it's been, you know, I don't know how many months I hadn't seen her, or Tim for that matter. And they had found a picture of her in the back of a nudie magazine for like a, well, you know, prostitute, I guess. I mean, she had an ad for night what do they call them in that book?
There was a picture of her?
Yeah, they had like a picture of a bunch of girls.
Yes, sir.
You call for a date, and her picture was in there.
And during that period of time, as far as you knew, Tim was with her.
You're correct.
And how old was he?
I want to say, you know, year and a half, almost 2 maybe, 2.5. I mean, somewhere. I mean, it was sort of a time after it all ended. You really don't want to try to remember, you know. So.
Yes, sir. And where's the next time you heard that where you actually knew where Cindy was?
Well, I was working in Chicago, and I got a phone call that said, we had your wife, Cindy Jones, just gave us this number, and this is the Fort Lauderdale police, and we picked her up for loitering.
And what did you ask the police?
I told the police to tell her that I would be gladly willing to bail her out. However, I want the kid first.
All right. And what did the police say to you?
He was a little stumped, and I think sounded like he was a little pissed because there was no kid. As I said, she ain't got no kid. She didn't say nothing about no kid.
Okay.
And he said he called me back.
All right. So what happened? How did you eventually? Where did you eventually find?
Pardon?
Where did you eventually find Tim?
Oh, Tim, I found him at Maggie's, the mother's.
Is that in Chicago?
No, that was in Round Lake, Illinois.
Okay. And then, what steps did you take to try to protect Tim at that point?
Well, I did bail Cindy out, you know, because I had my brother there, you know, half brother, and I told him, I was like, hey, you know, he lived in Fort Myers, so, and he when he got the bail money, I was like, look, here's, you know, a bus ticket as well. Just go ahead and put her on a bus, you know, and send her on back, and we'll see, you know, see what we can do, you know. I assumed she's gonna, you know, she's gonna tell me where Timmy was, you know, and so my brother gets her out, and as soon as he gets her out, he calls me up. He's like, man, she runs like a deer, dude. As soon as she got out, she took off. So I said, you know, there's got to be, I got to do something. I go get an attorney, you know, might as well get divorced, obviously, and because, you know, I mean, I really didn't want to get divorced, but it was pretty bad, you know. I mean, I did love the girl, you know, I loved my baby. So, I get an attorney. We go to court, and judge says, here I've filed for, a divorce, and he says, where's the party, the wife? And I was like, well, I haven't seen her, and it's been like almost 3 months now. And he says, well, he gave me custody papers over Timmy for temporary custody and says, and then we'll see you back in 6 months if this girl does not show up, and I guess they subpoena or whatever they do. And if she does not show up, we're going to consider her abandoned mother. And so as they give me the subpoena, I go to Round Lake, of course. I go to the police station, say, I got papers to get my son. I know he's at that house, so on and so forth. And they tell me, okay, we can go over there with you. But unless, when, you can walk up with us, but when you open that door, if you cannot see that child, we can't get him. You can't just, bum rush your house, so. I was like, well, they're going to hide her, hell, if they see me, see you. And they're like, well, that's just, that's the law here. Huh? So as we walk up, I knock on the door, and who looks through the blinds? Timmy. That's how I got him.
So you eventually, through the court system, you got custody of him?
Yeah, through the courts. And then I had temporary custody, of course, and I went back in 6 months. She didn't show, and I didn't hear from her for 20-some years. After it was all said and done. I mean, there was a couple of times she'd come back when but nothing to, what I mean. I knew it was over, and she had totally went a different way, and I was, and I didn't want no child support. I didn't want nothing. I was like, I thought it'd be a lot easier to raise her with,
Right. Who becomes, at this point in Timmy's life, and he's about what, 3?
Yeah, 2.5, yeah.
Who becomes sort of his default mother figure at that point?
My mother.
All right. And that's Roberta Thornsberry, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about Roberta at that point in Roberta's life.
When Timmy was born?
No. When she sort of becomes his default mother figure, what's...
Well, I mean, my mom's my mom, it's like any of you guys' moms. I mean, come on. Your son comes home with a baby, and he's the only one who got it. I mean, what is your mom going to do? She's going to take over.
Right.
And what is a teenage boy going to do? Well, I mean, I'm almost 20 by now. But still, because I still was young. Figured I still had a good life left. So I had a baby, and,
So you're saying she took on a big role in terms
Well, she took on a very big role, yes. While I was there. We didn't stay there forever,
But what was her relationship like with Larry at that point? Did they have problems?
Well, they've had problems all their lives.
Right.
So, yes.
And I know that you obviously know the problems that Roberta and Larry have had. The jury's not as familiar with it, but at that point in their life, when Timmy's about 3, is there still violence in that home?
Oh, yeah. There's still violence in that home today.
And that's,
I mean, not major, but she's older. They slowed down, but that's their love of each other. It's weird.
and what types of things happen between them, between Roberta and Larry?
What do you want to know? Usually, I mean, as far as violence,
Yeah.
I mean, they just fight. My mom was a real dominant woman, and of course, my dad, he's my dad.
I'm going to object, unless it pertains to the defendant himself being there. I'm not sure that.
Well, my son was there when I was going on, so
As long, make it,
yeah.
Timmy lived in that home.
We lived in that home. We lived in that home a few times.
to extend its relevant, Tim's presence
Yes, sir.
versus not present. It's
Okay.
easy.
Yeah, he was there.
Stuff that Tim was exposed to as a child
Yeah,
in that home.
sure.
Was there violence?
Off the charts.
Was there alcoholism?
Off the charts.
Was there drug use?
Yep. Not no LSD and shit like that, though. No.
Okay. Now, hang on just one minute. Was there a girlfriend that you had that your mother one time attacked?
Yeah. Yes.
And Tim was present for that.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Her name is Marie, and I was with her for a while. My ex-wife, Carolyn, knows her. And my mom and her, my mom don't like anybody with her son. I mean, I'm 56 years old. She still don't like my wife now. I mean, that's just the way my mother is. So this girl disagrees with my mom, and of course she's staying over there with us because she got kicked out of wherever she was living, and you know, next thing you know, she's all, she's beat up. She, blacked her eye and slapped her around pretty good.
And did you try to come to her defense?
I did, and as I was leaving, I was like yelling at my mom. I was like, man, why don't you hit somebody who, maybe hit you back? And man, she smacked me in the nose and buckled my knees, and I just got in my car and left.
Was that the first time she'd ever hit you?
No, my mom's hit me before, but I mean, not I mean, I did some shit wrong when I was young, and my mom whipped my ass.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was for me anyway. I mean, my mother was, she definitely wore the pants in the family.
Yes, sir. Tell us about Timmy growing up. What was he like as a child after he's living with you and Roberta and Larry? He's getting a little bit older, but still a child.
Yeah, I mean, child raising a child, I thought he was pretty good, and next thing you know, he's smart as hell.
Was he outgoing or was he shy?
No, very shy. I babyfied him too much. I didn't want him to grow up like I did.
Was he somebody that liked to be around others, or was he more of a loner?
No, he was definitely a loner. I mean, he had a few friends, but he had maybe 2, 3 at the tops. He couldn't have more than 3 friends because it was like, they couldn't get all their attention to each other, I guess.
Okay. And was he a loud kid or a quiet?
He was loud. I mean, quiet. He could, he could be loud once in a while, but he was pretty sneaky.
And as a kid, when he starts getting into school, is he a kid that cares about school or a kid that...
Oh man, he's just, you could be prouder.
Did you think that he was exceptionally smart?
I did.
Tell us about the first computer you ever got, Tim.
I got it for him for, I don't know, whenever he asked for it, because he was just going to be, he was just that smart. And so I got him, and I spent like $2,000 on this. And this is back, quite a ways back, probably about 10 grand now, And he got it, he was all excited. I was down there, helping hooked it up and stuff, And I don't know nothing about no computer. I took typing in school, failed, so. And I go downstairs, and he's got this thing taken apart. I mean, there's pieces everywhere. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm fixing it. I just bought it. How you fixing it? Well, it needs this and it needs that. I was like, you know what? I ain't buying another one, man. So I don't know what to tell you. I came out next morning, it was all put back together. And he's showing me how he made it faster and did this and that,
That you heard from Carolyn already today about that period in your life. I just want to ask you a little bit about it.
Sure.
Was Timmy jealous of Carolyn and your 2 newborns?
Timmy was jealous of anybody that had, with me, and that's where I had to, and look, I want to believe everything my son tells me, it's just the way you want to be, of course, just like any parent would want, right? But, I know he was jealous and so, you're listening to so much, right? Kids, he's just jealous, so, I look at there's a lot of hearsay.
Okay. During that period of time, you and Carolyn had some serious problems in your marriage we've heard about already.
Yeah, I was not a real good husband, and probably wasn't much better of a dad at that point, because it wouldn't, I'm losing my sister,
Yes, sir.
And, I just let things sort of, get away from me, I guess.
And there were people in your family that suffered because of the way you were at that time?
Of course.
And was Timmy around when there was violence between you and Carolyn?
Yes.
And Tyler and Travis too?
Yes.
And on at least a couple of occasions, you were arrested for domestic violence charges?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those resulted in convictions, right? 2 of them did?
Yeah, I had to take some anger management classes and stuff,
Yes, sir.
I'm not proud of it.
Yes, sir.
then I lost my brother.
I know,
So it continues,
I know. And that was little Larry, right?
correct? You know, talk about jealous, those two are jealous over each other. Good God.
Little Larry and Tim.
Oh, yeah. You know, so it's just tug of war.
And how far apart were the deaths of Elaine and little Larry?
I don't know. It seemed like yesterday, but 4 or 5 years, maybe?
Not long, right?
No. Not a lot. No.
And how did their deaths affect your mom?
Killed her. I mean, just you know, losing a child, man.
But did she get more out of control?
I mean, of course, you know, I mean, because Elaine really just, I mean, we watched Elaine die. You know, we basically, you know, I took videotapes of her as, you know, she was dying to give to her kids, you know, stuff like that, and, you know, talk about birthday, you know, 16th birthday, you know, and stuff like that. So when you watch something like that happen, it's pretty, I mean, I don't know how strong everybody is, but it took a toll on us.
Yes, sir. And around the time that Elaine died was Tim's first car accident, right?
Yes.
And you've already said that, you know, growing up you were shy and a loner and quiet and worked hard in school.
No.
Are those things that changed after his car accident?
Everything seemed to change after his car accident. You know, I mean, it was just, to me, I mean, he was turning into an adult, and he was smart, almost, well, too smart for his shoes, I used to say, you know. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't teach him no common sense.
But you're saying he's becoming an adult, but he was only 15 at the car.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, I was an adult at 15. I promise you.
Good point. But at the time, the changes that you saw in Tim, did you think they were because of the car accident?
Never, no. And again, as you seen the pictures earlier, right? You seen him in the cast, but you didn't see nothing wrong with his head. I mean, there was a Band-Aid up there. You know, the only thing I could, like I told you, the only thing I can contain it to is that it stayed, his head grew up. I mean, because it progressively got worse.
Okay.
And I didn't really notice it so much because, you know, he was off school and he used to have hair, you know. And, you know, back in the 70s, we really believed in hair, so. But, you know, he didn't, I mean, he just didn't see it. And I don't even know what time, I mean, it was just, I don't know when I really noticed, but there was one day that I just looked over and said, what the hell happened to your head, man? You get in a wreck or something? And he's like, no, that's from the car wreck. And I think I don't know, like I said, I don't remember how old he was, but I was amazed. I couldn't believe it.
So the things that changed about him, you didn't think it was a car wreck. You thought it was.
I thought it was adolescence, you know, manhood.
At that point, going forward in Tim's life, was he somebody that acted his age?
Oh, hell no, still don't.
And how does he act relative to his
So we
age?
always said Timmy's 26 going on 16. He just, you know, the mind of a giant, body of a baby.
And you said that you didn't feel like he had common sense. What do you give us an example of that?
Huh? Stealing the car, right? He goes, you're going to steal a car, right? Who the hell steals a car in the winter when the car's running and there's another car running next to it? You steal this one, and the guy just, you know, got behind him and followed him, called the cops. That's when he went to jail over it. Everybody says he's in prison over.
Right. When it comes to stuff that you're good at, work around construction, stuff like that, could he help you when it came to stuff you wanted?
Sure. I taught him to. I mean, he wasn't, you know, the best guy, but if he needed just some math done, you know, I mean, he lay it out, you know.
Right. But did you have to instruct him on how to do things?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, but, you know, kids don't want to listen to their dad, you know. I had one teenager told me he's going to put a cap in my ass once. My son. Different one, but my son. You know.
What about his work Does he start getting jobs? How did that?
Yes, Timmy, you know what? He's a hardworking young man. I mean, everything he does is 100%. I disagree with a lot of folks that says that every goal he set, he made. No.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
Did he keep the same?
Navy SEAL? No.
Did he keep the same job for a long period of time when he was a teenager? Or did he go from job?
No, you know, I mean, I sort of, thought that was the right way to do it anyway. He was a journeyman, you just, feel it out, You ain't going to work at grocery store all the time, Well, go try a restaurant or, work with this guy doing some shingle humping and stuff like that,
Okay.
It makes you more well-rounded, I think.
What about the choice to join the Navy? Was that a good choice in your mind?
Hell no.
Why not?
I know they tried to twist Carolyn up here, but, the boy wasn't physically paid for it. And again, what, 10% of them make it? He weighs $1.25. Like, dude, as soon as they put that log on you, you're done.
So did you think that his goal of being a Navy SEAL was realistic?
I didn't tell him that, but there was no chance.
So were you surprised when he came home so quick?
That I was surprised about. I mean, I figured he'd make it through, at least boot camp shit,
Okay. And when he comes home, what's your relationship like?
Well, he's pissed off, Of course, he's really pissed off at me, I guess. Probably because I said, I basically told him when he went. As a matter of fact, there's pictures of us when we went to the baseball game with his little brothers. And Kaminsky, I'm a White Sox fan. And, that's where we gave him a send-off. And all I ever asked him is, like, do you have a backup plan? Because, what if you don't make it? Oh, no, I'm going to make it. I'm like, And he kept saying, I'm going to make it. It's like, and of course, I leave there saying, hey, man, he's better come up with something else because he's not going to make it.
Okay. And so you said you didn't have a backup plan.
No.
Now, what's he start getting involved in once he doesn't make it in the Navy?
Well, then he comes out, of course, and he's just, he was per se living with me and, Carolyn, because we're having our issues as it is, and he's just in and out and all over the place, hanging with the wrong crowd. And, I mean, it's like, you just don't see nothing good coming out of it. And here's a kid that went into his junior year of high school that was going to be anything he wanted. Anything he wanted. He was going to Fermilab for physics.
And did he start getting, well, you already mentioned the car, but
He just started hanging with the wrong people and drinking and smoking and, doing the shit his dad did,
did you see him arguing with law enforcement officers?
Yeah, I mean, and that one, it was like I know you're referring to when he got arrested with the strippers.
Yes, sir.
And, I'm sorry, ladies, but as a dad, you don't think it's that big, I was like, okay. So when I go, I pick him up, and, I talk to the officers, of course, and they're, once again, sorry, ladies, but, the officer's like, look, it's nothing. We're going to slap his hand and let him go. And it's like, thank you, and, I'll have a talk with him. And as he's, as they're bringing him out, he starts cussing and yelling at the cops. And I'm telling him, look, they're letting you go, man. Shut up. What are you doing? You don't know. I was like, shut the fuck up. Okay, let's get out of here before you go to jail. And, so of course we argued all the way home. And I'm going there with the intention of saying, okay, you go to strip clubs, but don't sit out in the parking lot with him in a car with, alcohol in there. I mean, damn. And, it just turned into a big fight after that.
And he eventually gets locked up, right?
For that one?
Well, no, I'm sorry, for the cars and the...
Yeah, well, the cars thing was, and again, I was a role of that too. He has my name, Ray Jones Jr. And hell, I didn't think nothing about it, man. I do my checkbook in my head for years. So I guess he got a little mad from me maybe, and but not very good because all of a sudden, you missed $20-$30. I must have made mistakes here. I took there, 30, 40 here, there, and then, next thing you know, I get what Carolyn was referring to was I want to say it was $2,800 to bail his friend out of jail with my checks and my name. And he's been writing for like a year, and I find out because I started looking, and it's like, holy, this is off the charts, At the time, we're trying to buy a house, so they're like, well, you got two options here. Either you press charges against him or we press charges against you, but somebody, you know, the bank's they want one of you, you know, because I didn't have the money because I'd already put it down in this house. So it was like, you know, it's a big mess. And Timmy had sold his van before, you know, this all started. He sold a van at a college party. And it was a van for the university, right? So he's out with his friends partying, having a good old time. They get pulled over in his van. Cop pulls him over, checks him out, tells him, okay, slow down. Sends him on his merry little way. They hadn't called the van and stolen yet. So that's when he decided, I guess, to get brave when he was back home and to take the car that was in the driveway. Well, again, he took the wife's car, the husband got in his car, followed him, called the police, they picked him up, I think right there in, it was right in Algonquin area, somewhere there.
So between the cars and the checks and the drugs, he ends up getting about 1 year sentence. Is that about right?
Yeah, actually, I think it was like a boot camp,
Right.
you know, something like that.
Right. But a 1 year sentence, right?
Yeah. And so when they, even before he actually got sentenced, I took his two brothers and went to McHenry County Jail, sat in front of him and told them, you know, and I still believe this to this day, look, you did the crime, you do the time. You know, you give us a call when they're setting you free and, you know, we'll pick you up. You know, I told the brothers, say goodbye to your brother.
And were you there for Tim when he was released?
Just like I said, yes.
What was the biggest change in Timmy when you see him when he was released?
The religion.
Tell us about it.
Oh, man. Oh, where do you want to begin? Shit. It's, well, you guys met his priest the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? Well, me and that guy, we really, you know, we clashed right away because Timmy goes and finds this church and he's his pastor. And all of a sudden, you know, I got his brothers there, you know, we're still trying to get him back into, you know, somewhat of a normal life. It's like, look, you can fix this. You know, it's not a big deal because you're smart as hell, man. I mean, you shouldn't be here, but, and you can't go swimming with him. You can't, I mean, you can't go places, you can't see any kind of flesh of a woman or, you know, bikini or any shit like that. So I was like, well, we'll go at night, you know. No, we can't do that. And I talked to his pastor. I was like, man, what are you teaching my son? Oh, well, this is the way we believe in this and that. You know, no, I'm a Baptist. And, I mean, come on, man. That's just crazy. You know, and so this pastor, I mean, to me personally, I thought it was a damn cult. You know, and I talked to this guy, and he's changed his whole world because he thought, you know, he pretty much thought he was in a damn cult.
And was Timmy, when he gets out, is he still drinking and doing drugs?
No. I mean, look, he didn't drink and do drugs before. All this shit happened all because of this, you know, because he didn't make it a military thing. The high school thing, he started hanging around, like I said, in there with a couple bad kids, and I think they got him with a little bit of marijuana and maybe a little bit of cocaine. There was never no damn crack or acid or nothing like that. So, and, you know, I mean, he was just so religious now. I mean, it was like, I'm trying to get back to my son, like, you know, go have some fun or something, you know, not doing drugs or nothing, but just to have fun.
Yeah.
And he just could not do nothing but sit there with that Bible. I mean, it was like, what are you doing? You know, I mean, you got to spend some time with us. And he just, you know, wanted the church and the Bible, and that was it. Because he had to live with me because he was under house arrest for a while. You know, it was conditioned to get out.
And it's around that time that he meets Amber, right?
Yes.
And how did you feel about them getting married?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. I begged him not to, you know, but I also am the one that took him, and, you know.
Did you think they were too young?
Well, not just too young, but I mean, he wasn't in the right place to be getting married, and I mean, I don't even know who this girl. I mean, I'm still yet to meet her parents, man. I mean, come on.
Now, what was your name to refer to Amber and Tim's kids collectively? What did you call them?
What I call them? They're my babies.
You called them your babies.
Yeah.
And where were you and Julie when Mira was born?
I believe we lived down here. Excuse me, and then we drove there.
Okay. And they lived in Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you the first people to them after Mira was born, as far as you know?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I thought maybe I'd meet, because she's from Pennsylvania. Maybe that's why they moved down here,
Yes, sir. What about when Eli was born? Were you there for that?
I was there for all of them. I mean, in my heart, I was there for all of them, so it don't matter.
But physically, you were there when
Yes.
Eli was born, and your wife Julie was there too.
Yes,
And that was in Mississippi, wasn't it?
yes,
And what about when Natan was born? Were you and Julie there too?
yes.
When Amber and Tim and Mira, Eli, and Natan lived in Mississippi, did they come and visit you sometime?
Every weekend. While Timmy was going through school. When Timmy was talking to me, of course.
Okay. When you say when Timmy was talking to you, what do you mean?
Well, he was my son, so if I pissed him off, I couldn't, I had 26 going on 16. I had to treat him like, a young little boy. If I didn't give him his damn way, he just wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't see me. I'd go to his house and try to apologize, but he still wouldn't, he just didn't care. He was pretty hard-headed.
Do you remember after Natan was born, do you remember that Amber had a miscarriage?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember whether or not Tim and Amber named that baby?
They did.
Okay. Tell the jury how that miscarriage affected Tim.
Oh, shit, man. I was, of course, we lost William, because of Cindy, and when it happened, because, William, he was 8 months old, so we actually had to, do the whole little shindig. And I don't mean it like that, but,
When you say shindig, do you mean funeral?
yeah, it was like a little mock funeral. We were kids.
Yes, sir.
But I'd always remembered something the doctor had told me, and he was damn right on it, too. He's like, sometimes the Lord has a way of taking care of things you can't.
Yes, sir. And that was something, did you tell Timmy that trying to make him feel better?
Yes, it didn't help. He was off the charts, man. He thought he had lost his, me or something,
And when you say off the charts, you talking about sad?
Oh, God. I never seen nothing like it. Even my wife was like,
Have you ever seen him as upset as he was about that?
no, not like that. Not like that crying. No, he was just devastated. And personally, again, I feel terrible for even saying this, but I'm thinking, my God, once again, the Lord has a way of taking care of things that you don't. You don't need more kids. And there's even some letters somewhere that Amber wrote saying, Dad should leave us alone, let us have more kids. It's like, why? He's still in school, man. Stop.
At this point, how do you feel about Timmy as a father to Mira, Eli, and Natan?
I didn't think either one of them were worthy enough to raise the kids. And I told him that.
Did you think that his religious views were a problem in terms of his parenting?
I did.
And tell us why.
Well, spare the rod's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't need to be hitting no kid. And that shit didn't happen in my house. And and again, Timmy did it once. I gave him shit. I don't see him for 6 months.
Did he have the kids celebrate Christmas?
He did for me, per se, because, I pretty much forced it, you know what I mean? There was even times I got pissed off and said, you know what, screw it, man. I tried to read the night before Christmas, he would just interrupt me, and, oh, that's a lie. No, that ain't in the Bible. I was like, screw it, I ain't gonna read it,
So
That happened once. So shit like that.
He felt like everything had to be decided through the lens of the Bible.
Timmy thought he was gonna live and breathe every page of that damn Bible. And look, like I said, I'm a Baptist, and I preach to this boy, look, the Bible is a guideline to life. For every yin, there's a yang. You cannot live it. It's impossible. And right now, a modern woman is not going to live with you like that. You can't keep never cut their hair, and you know, why don't you just go, you know, I don't mean be an Amish. I mean, because, you know, I talked to my friend, he's like, yeah, you know, only difference is we don't like electric. You know, because he was, you know, Amber agreed to this shit. And I was like, oh, God, man, what's wrong with you? I mean, if he loves you, he'll do whatever you want. I mean, as far as if a man loves a woman, let's face it, he's going to follow her to the end of the earth.
Did you see him combining physical discipline of the kids with preaching to them?
I heard it once and seen it, well, sort of heard it, seen it at the same time, yeah. Because, yeah, he'd spanked me, and I'd walked in because I heard, you know, and I was not, you know, what was going to happen. And as I walk in, he starts preaching to her. And I was like, well, wait. And I mean, I got really pissed. Like, you're gonna beat her ass and you're gonna preach to her? I mean, no bullshit. You know, what'd she do? And I mean, I don't even remember what she'd done because it didn't matter. And, you know, I was like, you know, you can't do that. You know, it's just not gonna work.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, Timmy believed in this so hard is because Amber had him believing in it as well. I mean, she was a big part of this. You know, Timmy, you know, he wanted to make her happy. He truly thought she was happy that way. I knew she wasn't. You know, I could see it. You know, I talked to the girl, and it was, you know, it was a train wreck.
Now, Timmy gets a job in South Carolina, right?
Yes.
And he and Amber and Mira, Eli, and Tom moved to South Carolina.
I moved him here.
You moved them here.
That's me, my wife, and my kid.
Okay. And
Sorry, didn't mean to move here.
And you tell us about coming to visit them and trying to help with their home here.
Well, let's start where it starts. You know, Tim comes back from, what was it, North Korea or something. You know, he was, you know, doing something with, you know, school, Mississippi State, because his, you know, his accolades were off the charts. Again, this kid, anything you want. I mean, his mind's just so sharp. And yeah, man, I said this same shit through all his life. He's like, man, you know, fine line, man. You're riding a rail. You know, just don't fall off. You know. And I'm so proud of him, man. It's like, you know, he got what he wanted. He's going to get the job at Intel. You know, they're going to give him a little money to move here and so on and so forth. And, you know, Timmy seemed to be, you know, really going in the right pace, you know, right direction, right pace. You know, it's like, you know, because, again, smart people are sort of fragile, if you know what I'm saying. And Amber 360'd, man. You know, she was just so pissed. I mean, she thought that this was it. He finally got the big Intel job. You know, my life is, you know, I'm going to get some nannies and, you know, big, beautiful home. And I'm like, honey, that's, you know, you ain't going to be able to do that for a while. But you know what? Hey, it is going to happen. It's there, you know. And he'll probably start out, you know, $80,000, $90,000 a year. And before you know it, he'll be whatever he wants. And when she found out he bought that trailer over there, oh, God. I mean, you just seen it. I mean, she was so pissed. And then, of course, they're fighting all the time over it. And, you know, and I'm talking to her saying, look, I'm going to come and help you, man. You know, I'll come down there. I brought him washer, dryer, stove, refrigerator. I mean, I put it in your toilet, sink. I mean, I was doing everything I could do, you know. And Timmy was helping, you know, and everybody. But Amber just didn't, you know, I just seen something in her at that time. I knew this, you know, once again, train wreck. You know, she just didn't give a shit. She wasn't going to touch something. She hated it. And she didn't want to be there.
But I mean, the place was in rough shape.
It was real bad, man. Real bad. I mean, I stayed there for a week. And I think the day I left, I got it to where, you know, they could at least use the bathroom and stuff. But I mean, you know, it wouldn't take much. I mean, I own a little construction company. It's, you know, it can be done.
Yeah.
You know, and I had faith in Tim, and he really wanted it. And you know, but Timmy, once again, he set that goal thing they're talking about. He gets a little too high. You know, he's like, look, you gotta, you know, you chop the tree down here. You just don't chop the whole. You know, you gotta do a little time. And Amber didn't want it, and Timmy loved it, and it was like almost like watching Green Acres.
When you and Julie went to their new home and did things around the house to help.
No, not just around, outside too. I mean, man, a week of hard. I mean, I felt like I was at boot camp.
When you left to come home to Mississippi, and when you came back to visit again.
Well, when you know, after we're now finishing up, I say, well, all right, you know, and it was a weirdest little thing because it was just something, you know, it was simple, man. I mean, there was some garbage over here, and I'd swept it up, but you know, into the corner because I couldn't find a dustpan. And I told Amber, I was like, look, as we're leaving, I was like, she's like, you don't have to do that, I'll do it. I was like, yeah, right. And I sweep it into the corner, and I was like, we'll be back in about 2 weeks, because I still got my other job, my company to run. And, we'll do more, we'll start working on the outside because there's like trees everywhere. And it was real bad because there was a lot of glass and stuff, so I was scared for the kids. So we cleaned out a good section, fenced it off a little bit. And that little pile of dirt and the countertops, because I put in a new stove, stove. And the countertops, of course, you ever take out a stove, you notice how you got all that grease right there, and it's just, gunked up. And I tell Amber, like, make sure you clean this up, And she's like, I will. And we're back a couple weeks. I come back in 2 weeks, and that shit is still there. And that damn little pile of dirt that I swept in that corner is still there. And so, at that point, I knew that, that's when me and Julie start talking, what are we going to do, I mean, this is ugly. And it's, she's doing nothing. Now, Tim can't work at a new damn job straight out of college because he's going to have to bust his ass, to make sure he's trying to make a name for himself and come home and do this too. She don't give a shit. I'm telling you, and I told my wife, I was like, she gave up a long time ago, man. When she was at home and she knew she was getting that trailer, she was one pissed woman. There's nothing worse than a scorned woman.
But you weren't happy with it as a place for your grandbaby.
I wasn't happy for either, none of them. But you know what? It could be temporary. And the beautiful part, Timmy had a good, little plan. He's like, he's paying cash for everything. So, he owed maybe $4 or $5 grand, to pay it off. And I was like, and it was like, well, that's a good plan because now you can just dump, money after money into it. You put $5 or $6 grand in anything, you can make it look better.
Yeah. Not long after that, their marriage falls apart, right?
Yes.
And was Timmy devastated by that?
He acted like he wasn't, And it's once again, here comes, and again, we see it, it's coming, there's a big shit sandwich coming our way, and, these babies are going to be in the middle of it. And so it happens, and Tim says, she's having an affair. And I sort of make a joke, like, how the hell is she having an affair? There ain't nobody out there, And it really wasn't. It was like this house and this house next to him. And he's like, with the neighbor. I'm thinking, well, isn't he a little old? And he's like, no, with the neighbor's son. I was like, you talking about the teenage boy? He said, yeah. He's like, look, son, let her take the kids, pay your child support, be the hero every 2 weeks. That's the best advice I can give you, because that's a lot of children, and once again, of course, I hate to say, but I'm like, I told you so, damn it. You can't have so many kids until, especially with their relationship, man. Hell, they met a week later, got married. That just don't last anyway. You don't know nobody. But after all the years that Amber had stayed, and, and it seemed like she wanted to be that way, she just 360, and she did not want, she wanted to be able to wear jeans and, show some cleavage. That's just the kind of, I talked to her, I love her, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bash her in no form, way, or fashion. I'm just saying that they sort of bullshitted each other, you know what I mean? They shouldn't have been together. And so now the kids are the one torn in the middle. And Timmy is absolutely apeshit for his kids. And this is, you can come by my house, I'll show you 50 people who'll tell you the exact same thing, and they're all freaked out by it, and they said, I just can't believe it. Because, he says, I want to take my kids. And I'm like, well, man, get ready. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I hope you got a lot of damn money because, man, you can't take a kid from his mom. I was like, dude, that's like impossible, And, man, it was just like no time. All of a sudden, he's got custody of all three, all 3 kids. He didn't take them. She's going to give them to him or some shit. It's like, what? I don't think she even filed yet. She literally said you can, take them. And so now I'm like, what are you going to say? Well, what are you going to do? Well, he takes his brother with him, and they go get the kids and bring them back, you could knock me over with a feather because I just don't know no one. I've never met any woman that I've known in my life, other than my grandmother, that didn't fight for her kids.
Did you keep in touch with Amber after they separated?
Well, I didn't really keep in touch with her. She, after, Timmy got the kids, well, I guess she changed her mind for some reason or another. Or, I don't know, maybe it was about 4. Because we went and got Gabriel after that. We'll start from there. That way it'll be a little easier. We went, so Timmy got the 3, right? And I'm like, okay, you know. He's like, I gotta go get Gabriel. I was like, Tim, man, that was the diapers, man. You know, I mean, we're just now getting through that, you know. And,
Let me just ask you, is this the summer of 2012?
this is the summer they split up, so whenever that was.
Right.
I mean, I really didn't keep up with the years, you know, then because I was just having too much fun with, you know, my kids and shit.
But Mira, Eli, and Natan come to
Yes, yeah, they're all three with me.
in Mississippi
Yeah, you know, and Timmy too, of course. Timmy's there
with Julie.
with Julie and our children. Yes.
And the plan is for them to stay there for the summer with you?
Well, whatever. You know, I'm trying to get Timmy. I was like, well, you might as well, you know, quit your job. I own a house next door. You know, I was like, you can move over there because, shit, man, you're gonna need some help. You know, 3 kids is a lot.
But he's still working in South Carolina.
Right.
And during that time, Gabe is in South Carolina.
Yes.
And how did Gabe wind up coming to Mississippi also for that?
Well, I you know, I mean, I literally argued with Timmy for a day or two, you know, because he's like, I'm going to get Gabriel, you know. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not pissed, and I don't, you know, I'm not trying not to hurt the baby. It was like, surely God, you can take care of one damn baby, right? I mean, and man, well, why would you take all the responsibility away, son? You know, and not to mention, you're going to be working. We got to watch all these babies, you know, not that we care, but what I mean, what the hell are you going to do? You know, I mean, you know, let the mom have the baby because he's young. You know, he really needs to be with his mother. And he's fought me and said, no, I'm going. You can go or not go. So, all right. So we go, I want to say it was a Sunday or Monday, you know, whenever we get there, me, our son Chad, and Timmy. And we pull up to the trailer, and I mean, it's just a wreck. I mean, now what, you know, the little bit we had fixed, I don't know how in the hell they did what they did. I mean, it was like, looked like a damn bomb went off, you know? So I was like, she's living here? And he's like, yeah. Well, we go in there, and sure enough, you know, you got to walk through a little opening here, and as soon as you like turn the corner, you can't get in for the clothes and the garbage and the shit. And then there's a playpen sitting right there, and she's sitting on a couch with a beer in her hand. And I look over at her and just, you know, sort of shake my head. And I walk over to the fridge, the first thing I do. And, you know, I do it with all my kids. They get pissed at me, but I'll make sure they got food. And I open the door, and there's beer sitting there. So I look over, and she's like, oh, it's Tim's fault. He don't buy no food, blah, 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 blah. You know? And now these guys have been separated for a while. So, I mean, I just like, look, whatever, Amber, just, you know. And I go over and I pick up Gabriel. And again, I hate this sounds, and I'm not making it up. I picked that baby up, and I swear it was like I dunked him in water and pulled him up in the air. That's how much piss rolled off him. And I looked at her, and, you know, and I was like, you change this fucking baby right now, and I'm out here, you know, and I go out. You know, because like, I couldn't believe it, you know. Timmy's still in love with her, you know. So he's, you know, but he wants to show that he can be whatever the hell I guess she's wanting him to be or something. I don't know what they were trying to do, but yeah, I mean, he still loved her. And so I get on the phone right away, of course. I'm talking to my wife. It's like, man, I can't fucking believe this out here. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean,
No. Salty language, slow it down. You're too salty. All right?
sorry. So I tell her, you know, I can't believe what's going on here. I mean, I've never seen a place this dirty. You wouldn't recognize it. And about that time, this little boy comes walking out of the house.
What do you mean, this little boy?
The neighbor boy. I don't know his name.
Is you?
That's the one she's having an affair with, because I asked him. I was like, who are you? He's like, I mean, he's in his sock feet, you know. And he wasn't in, you know, the area we walked in, of course. You know, I mean, I walked into the kitchen area, and here's the living room, and he wasn't in there, so he had to be in the bedroom or the bathroom or something. And he comes out, I asked, you know, who are you, a little harder? And he walks up, he's like, you know, I'm the neighbor. I was like, you don't boys, you know, screwing around with my daughter-in-law? And he's like, yes, sir. And I asked him even how long. He's like, 6 months.
I think we're getting a little sidetracked. Let's get back.
This is affecting Timmy, man. I'm telling you, he went nuts.
All right. You don't, hey,
Oh,
deal with the lawyer.
Oh,
You
sorry.
answer the question, okay? This is, you answer questions I ask you. Let's read back to the subject matter at hand, please.
Rather than going into what people are saying, okay, what I want you to tell the jury is, was there a confrontation between Timmy and this guy that Amber was having or was together with at that point?
No, I mean, that's why I said, you know,
And why was that, why did that surprise you?
I think it would surprise anyone, wouldn't it? You walked in and caught your wife with another guy?
Okay. And then, so did you bring Gabe back to?
We did,
Okay. And that was to be with his siblings with Summer?
yes.
Or I guess at that point it was.
It was to be with us because that baby was in trouble.
And shortly after you got back to Mississippi with Gabe, did Amber come to see you in Mississippi?
She did.
And again,
She decided,
not going into what people say, but
Connection of relevance to this.
it's
she was trying to take us,
testified to.
If the defendant's not there, what's the relevance?
It's an event that's been testified to already.
All right, hang on, Slipper. We've been going about an hour and 10 minutes. Let's take a break. We'll try and get back on our feet. Y'all step into your room. All right.